In theory, a clean air device is pretty basic. It needs to draw in potentially contaminated air, it needs to clean that air, and it needs to return that air back into the space. Simply put, indoor air devices must be excellent at moving air and cleaning air, both of which are actually more challenging than they sound. Reactor Technologi handles both of these tasks in incredibly innovative and efficient ways. Let's start with how we get air into and out of our devices. You'll likely have seen images like this one, diagrams showing how aerosolized particles can remain in the air for hours after an infected person talks, coughs, or sneezes. When it comes to moving air, this is the kind of air that Reactor is most interested in. The potentially infected air exhaled by people, toxic air generated by furniture polish and cleaning products, and particulate matter kicked up by work and activity. This is the air that produces the most risk to our well-being, but also, unfortunately, the air that is the most difficult to target. Reactor devices are designed to capture, disinfect, and replace this air in real time, a design feature we call airflow control. Traditional air purifiers don't put much thought into where air is coming from and where it's going. They bring in air as one might expect, but return the cleaned air essentially at random, often just ejected from the top of the device. This can create unpredictable, turbulent patterns of airflow that can, at worst, prevent clean air from being delivered back to the occupants, or even interrupt the efficient intake of contaminated air. Reactor devices are different both in terms of their size and shape, as well as how they direct the flow of air. In this example, we have one of our tower units. When occupants exhale or a risk is produced, that air is drawn down towards the floor and pulled into the unit from the bottom. Instead of delivering the clean air at random, it is channeled out at approximately head height to allow occupants the highest chance of inhaling clean air. This creates an ongoing pattern of airflow that cycles air towards the floor, up through the unit, and out to where it is most likely to be inhaled. This divides the room into two airflow areas, one of which we call the breathing zone. In reality, over time, all the air in the room ends up mixing and recirculating completely. However, the breathing zone is the area most at risk and the first served by Reactor Technologi. The second part of the challenge is, of course, cleaning the air. And this is where Reactor is some of the most high-performing technology ever seen in commercial devices. If you recall, we have three categories of indoor air pollution. The first of these, impure air or particulate matter, must undergo filtration. That dust and dirt needs to be trapped and removed. The second, toxic air, must go through a process of neutralization where it is rendered inactive. Lastly, infected air must be deactivated, which is to say that the organic compounds that make up the pathogens must be broken down or removed to prevent them from spreading illness. Until recently, viral deactivation has been all but impossible to do in non-medical or laboratory environments, making this the hardest of the three categories to overcome. Products described as air filters are designed to tackle pollutants in the first category, with varying levels of performance. Some conventional air purifiers are also able to neutralize VOCs and toxic gases using basic carbon filtration. Virus Killer takes on all three categories simultaneously and does so with unequaled ability. Here's how it works. As mentioned, in our tower units, air is drawn down towards the bottom of the device where it enters the intake. Clean air leaves the output via directional channels that help deliver it into the breathing zone. If we take a look inside, in the middle of the device you'll find a powerful, quiet, pressure-optimized fan that drives air intake and delivery. When air enters the device, it is first confronted with the filtration stage. The filtration stage consists of a series of ultra-high quality filters. Air first moves through a washable pre-filter which traps larger particles, dust and irritants. It then moves through a premium activated carbon filter which absorbs and neutralizes most harmful gases and VOCs. Finally, a high-grade HEPA filter takes care of ultrafine particulates and acts as a first line of defense against bioaerosols, such as larger viruses and bacteria. Any contaminated air that has survived up until this point is in for a tough time, as it has yet to enter the core of the device, the reactor chamber. The reactor chamber is the patented technology and the heart of our active pathogen deactivation process. The reactor chamber turns an already premium air purifier into an all-in-one indoor air safety device. Inside the reactor chamber are a series of high-power UVC emitters or lamps. These provide low-level disinfection to any viruses or bacteria that have made it through the filtration stage. However, the real power of the technology is our method of harnessing the process known as photocatalytic oxidation. Alongside the UVC emitters are a network of uniquely designed hexagonal tube filters, each coated in titanium dioxide. When UV light comes into contact with the titanium dioxide on these tubes, agents known as hydroxyl radicals are formed. When microorganisms such as viruses come into contact with the hydroxyl radicals, they are essentially oxidized, broken down into harmless trace compounds and rendered inactive. These two disinfection processes, UV light and photocatalytic oxidation, work hand in hand, making the reactor chamber one of the safest, most powerful air decontamination systems seen in a commercial technology. When viewed all together, these core technologies are able to tackle all three of the pollutant categories with truly exceptional results.